Afternoon. Welcome to the January 12th edition of the Jonesboro. Glad to see everybody here. Thank you. We are going to start off with invocation by Van Silliman.
Okay, please bow with me in prayer. We're going to do the four-way test today. I'm sorry. Rotary and prayer. Yeah.
With good reason.
I love this club. Okay. Open our eyes that we may see. Open our ears that we may hear. Touch our hearts that we may love. Clear our minds that we may think. Strengthen our hands that we may work. Amen. We may work.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Notably absent today is Larry Aiken.
We're getting out early.
I'm not sure if he ran into a Clemson fan or what, but he's got some rib issues, and so maybe he just got so into the game that he threw himself into the captain. I don't know, but he's not here, and he's recovering, and hopefully he's going to be doing well here soon to have him back next week.
I've got plenty of changes.
Okay, then give me John, will you fill us in on Character Plus?
I'll give you a wingspan for 20.
I will.
We're going to be doing Character Plus again. We actually had to postpone it because of testing that they're doing at Edwards Elementary. So we're going to be doing Character Plus on, shucks, I live by my Google Calendar, don't I? But we're going to do it on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Let me get it right for you. Here we are, 24th. And we're doing it at 9 a.m. And so all of you that can, I know there's a lot of regulars that come out to Edwards Elementary and help us out with that. Anyone that wants to come by, we'd love to have you there so we can have our next presentation. And actually we're going to do another one with Norbert. Norbert is going to give us, he gives us one every year. Norbert Miller, and he talks about the Appalachian Trail for February. And that's going to be on February 14th. So, good things coming up.
So is it 9, 8?
9 a.m.
9.
Oh, it is 8 a.m. I'm sorry. You're right.
8 a.m.
Yeah.
Good. Just want to make sure.
No, you're right. Or
Or are you just telling me 9?
yeah, it's on you 9. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, let's see here. Robert, would you like to discuss White Elephant while I'm up here? Got it going?
Thank you, President David. Just a reminder, it's 2 weeks from today. White Elephant Sale is, for those of you who are new, you bring items, you bring anything from your house that you don't want anymore, that you think somebody else might be willing to purchase. We have a fun auction. All the proceeds go to T-shirts for the Character Plus children. So that's where our proceeds go. But we have a good time, and so we want you to be here. We want you to bring good stuff. We want you to bring a guest if you can. Tell them it's a fun event, and all the money goes to support a good charity. So that's 2 weeks from today.
I will give you guys advance notice that on the 28th is the Duke weight game that we got tickets for. I may not be able to go, so I'm going to auction off those tickets to you guys starting. Just think about it, check your schedule if you're able to go, and bid on those. Let's see what else we got. Van, you want to call on you again? You want to do this? Or?
Yeah, that'd be great, President David. Yeah. Okay. Today we've got a couple of guests. We have Tony Lett from the Sanford Rotary Club. And of course we've got Greta from the Temple. She's going to be our program today. 2 weeks in a row we haven't inducted her or something. And then of course we've got Don, who is going to be the inducted today. Let's give a big round of applause for that. Tony Lett, you have an announcement.
I do. Thank you for allowing me to come before your club. The Sanford Rotary Club is having their annual gala February the 18th. We always have it the Saturday after Thanksgiving. after Valentine's Day. So if you forget to take your bride out for dinner, your spouse, you can bring them to the gala, or if you do, then you bring them anyway. We have games of chance, we have music, we have heavy hors d'oeuvres, we have a live auction, we have a silent auction. It's a lot of fun. It's at the Elks Club. Tickets are $50 per couple. I'll be glad to sell you one, or go to any Sanford Rotary Club member. It is our major fundraiser for the year. The proceeds go to local nonprofits, CUOC, Breadbasket, those sorts of organizations, and we'd just love to have you guys participate, if you would.
Tony, thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. Terry, you have an announcement.
Yes, YouTube. I think last year we won some big award because of YouTube. I like for you to get the word out. Please, please, please use YouTube. Yeah, make a long story short, I like to look at the numbers, you know, like they look really good. You know, one time I had 48, I'm like, wow, you know, I'm gonna make history. So, so you know, when the numbers up, that meant we got more people that has attended club meetings, right? So we wanna win this award again next year. So please get the word out for whomever take the notes for pass the word for people. Please click on YouTube and so they can get a little check mark beside the name that
Absolutely.
I love numbers.
And it's really helpful to get the reminders that we get an email to, and can you make it really easy?
Good, yeah.
And let's give Janice Davis a big round of applause, because you know what? She made up on YouTube 3 times. I'm sorry, Terry, didn't want to ruin your
I was all
statistics.
three. I was 3 of them, sorry.
Okay, and really, again, you know,
They're
you've got
really
2
good.
weeks before or 2 weeks
good.
after to make up, so you got a pretty good amount of time to make up if you know you're not going to be here. Do we have any other announcements come before the club at this time? Yes, Chris.
Yes. Yes, I'd like to thank the club. We had a great bell ringing season, and thank you for ringing on December 6th and 7th at Lowe's Foods. The club collected $862 in 2 days, so thank you for that. And we appreciate that. The giving at the kettles this year was pretty amazing. We're up 27%. And this community gave a little over $100,000 to the Army, and we were excited about that, and looking forward to be able to serve our community in greater ways this year. So thank you all for your support. You are a blessing.
That's great. It's a lot of fun too. Okay. Any other announcements come before the club at this time? All right. How about any brags? Anybody got anything they're real proud of that they want to share with the club today? Okay. Oh, Richard, thank you.
I don't know if I'm proud of
I was
it.
thinking I was losing it here. I can't.
We made our annual trek to Minnesota for Christmas. They actually treated us quite well, and my wife started talking about how it'd be nice to be closer to the grandchildren and all this. The day we left, which was last Wednesday, it was a -11, 20 mile an hour wind. Wind chill of -32. Now we know why we don't live there.
And you didn't drive your motorcycle, did you?
No, I didn't ride my
Well, that's
motorcycle.
good for you. Hey, thank you, Richard. Appreciate it. Any other brags to come now that we got the ice broken?
Man, now we were, Vandy was 0-2 this week. They lost to Alabama Saturday night. They lost to Kentucky Tuesday. Alabama, they should have won that game. Matthew, they beat him up pretty bad. He got 7, but they stuck him. I mean, you just got to learn to move without the ball. So, but, of course, he hasn't called me to ask yet. But anyway, they played Kentucky Tuesday night. They lost by 6. He got 19. Tony and I are going out to Nashville tomorrow. They play Tennessee Saturday night, so we're going to go out Saturday and watch him play in person. And my sister's going to be there, and my brother's going to be there, and so we're looking forward to that. You know, I really wish you'd call me, but you know, he's got a coach on silent. Probably tells him better than I would, but I don't think so.
Thank you. Any other information come before the club at this time? Back to you, President David.
Thank you so much. Before we get on with the introduction, Shannon, it's glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming here today. And she is going to give her member moments today, so we will turn the floor over to her.
Okay. And I hope I do this correctly.
Trust me.
I hope you're
Bless your heart.
So, recent random acts of kindness. I believe in helping the less fortunate, even if they are in your family. So, I am a giver to my family members, sometimes too much. In terms of why did I join the Rotary, it is a public service entity. And despite what some people might believe, because I don't have a lot of time, I prefer to be out of my office as opposed to in my office working out in the public. I was born in Wake County. I still reside in Durham. I went to Jordan High School. And in terms of my careers, I've worked at the Durham Housing Authority in various positions from the ground up. I worked at the City of Durham for 2.5 years as their federal programs manager. And in January 2015, I came to Sanford as the CEO of the Sanford Housing Authority. I have a master's degree. In terms of my family or who is my hero, my mom is my hero. She was a single mother, just as I am. But she assured that I received an education so that I could be the best that I could be. And I'm leaving the same for my children. I have a son who's going to be 25, and I have a daughter who will be 17 at the end of this month. She is now driving. Thank you. And
We'll pray for next month.
yes, please do. And again, I came to Sanford, not residing, but in January 2015. Something that members do not know about me is that I'm almost 50. Sometimes people think that I'm 30 instead of almost 50. My most memorable moments, the one in particular is in Durham. I put together a deal to develop housing for homeless families. In Durham, a lot of the entities develop what we call single room occupancy units, just a room. And in meeting with the homeless providers, there was a need for homeless families. So I put together a deal that would develop houses, rental and homeownership, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. We also developed a community service building within the community. We also built 2 single family houses so that the families could go from being homeless to a renter to a homeowner, all within the same community. I hope to do the same thing here in Sanford.
Thank you, Shannon.
I wish you needed.
I know schedules are tough, but we're glad you're here today.
Thank you.
Glad you make what you can. And try not to complain too much about looking 30, okay?
Yeah, really, seriously.
Thank you. Now we are going to induct a new member. So, Mr. Spivey.
All right, Neil and Don, if you'll come up, please. It's my pleasure to welcome Don Douglas to Jonesboro Rotary Club, and I understand that you are a former Rotarian and a former club president.
Yes.
So go ahead and write his name down. That would be a great footnote. He's been president of 2 different Rotary clubs.
Whoa.
So Don here is just a membership certificate. We'll present you with that. And we're really on the ball. We have your name badge. And
it's spelled right.
good. Oh, that's right. And we need to get a number written on the back so you'll know what slot to put it in the box, so it'll be easy to find. But there's that. I know you probably have dozens of these Rotary pins in your drawer at home and with all your jewelry and things like that, but here's another brand new one. And I know you're very familiar with Rotary, but this is just a packet that tells a little bit about more about what our club does specifically and that kind of thing, so. And, appreciate Neil, being your sponsor, and welcome to Jonesboro Rotary. And if you wouldn't mind, just maybe take 30 seconds or a minute and just give a little background on yourself, how you got here and everything.
We were talking about this. I ended up in North Carolina through no fault of my own. I had just retired from 30 years of being a high school principal. And my wife was working for Lloyd Corporation, which is headquartered in Cary, but previously had been headquartered in Erie, Pennsylvania. And she got a very nice promotion, and with the promotion came a transfer to Cary. So the timing was perfect, as I had just retired, and I said, okay. And then when I found out that you guys didn't get 200 to 300 inches of snow, and I never had to see minus 30 again, I said, you know, this is not a bad deal. We moved here in 2004, and we've been here since, and 2.5 years ago, we moved down to Sanford, to Trace, and I enjoy the community and decided it was time to give back. So when you brought the meeting out to Carolina Trace, I said, I'm going to go. And I had said that about a year earlier when I was sitting in Richard's office, and I saw his Rotary plaque, and I said, you know, I was a Rotary member. I'd really like to get involved. And he said, well, we'll have to have you come to a meeting. Then it never happened, and so I didn't let the second opportunity pass me by.
Well, welcome to the club.
Thank you.
Come on over, David. Give him a musical accompaniment.
I like cake lady.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Come on, Nancy. Come on. If you want to come on over,
Take it over.
Okay.
glad you're here.
And I'm still up. Okay, it's my pleasure to introduce our program today. And Greta Zanstra. Greta is the education director with the Temple Theater. She's been there since May 2014. And I really appreciate her coming today because it was only yesterday when I asked her if she could do it. So she was very gracious, and she was eagerly accepted the opportunity to come, so I appreciate that, Greta. To give you just a little bit of background on Greta, she's originally from Highland, Indiana. She has undergraduate degree from Notre Dame and a graduate degree from the University of Nebraska. So she's pretty smart girl. She has worked at the Children's Theater of Charlotte, the Cape Fear Regional Theater, of course, the Temple Theater, and I told her I wanted her to explain this, but she's also worked at the Atlanta Zombie Apocalypse. Before you even get up, I'd like for you to explain.
Okay, it was actually a really fun job. Atlanta, unbeknownst to me before I got hired in this organization, is a major, international, hub of what they call haunted experiences. So, around here we can go to a haunted house or whatever, but no one even thinks about that as anything in Atlanta. These are epic events run by mostly the people who run Adult Swim, that TV station. They're big organizers of these events. So Atlanta Zombie Apocalypse was the one that I worked for, and it was an immersive theater event with a zombie apocalypse theme. So it was, and we'd have audience, and the audience would come with us through this, maze in an abandoned hotel, and then we went into a barn, and out into the woods behind there, and out into a cemetery, and it was a fake cemetery. We weren't disrespecting the dead, but it was a big epic event, and it just would go on all during the month of October, and the first performance of the evening would be at about 7:30, and the last one would be at 2 a.m. It was a really fun, really intense experience, and I was in really good shape because I ran away from zombies for a month straight.
Well, let's welcome She's gonna tell us what's going on and what she does with the temple.
Yeah, thank you. So, thanks for having me. I feel like I'm, always crashing your party, but I appreciate the opportunity to come talk with you a little bit. And as I said yesterday, I will gladly come and I can talk all day. But Chris said to make it short, and I did say I don't have time to put together like a PowerPoint or anything. So it's just gonna be me talking. Our mission statement at Temple Theater is to entertain, educate, and enrich the audiences of Central North Carolina through the art of live theater. Now, I assume that most of you are familiar with the entertain part. If you seriously have never come to see a show, before I leave, come talk to me and I will make sure that you get tickets to whatever show you want. I will give you my free tickets because I want everyone to experience that. Everyone should be aware of the entertainment part. Now the rest of it, the educate and enrich, that's really what I do. Everyone else does the entertain part and I get the whole rest of it. So I want to give you guys a couple ideas of some of the things we do because I feel like a lot of the entertain part is pretty obvious, but the educate and the enrich stuff, even though we're doing a lot, it sometimes is not obvious to the general populace. So we basically have a bunch of different programs. When I first arrived here in May of 2014, our education department had been going for a while, but it was kind of contained, right? We had 2 summer conservatories, which were well attended, but 40 or so, 35, 40 students in each one, and then a sporadic workshops during the year that were, reasonably attended. But I thought we could do better than that. So our summer camp, the first thing I did here was sort of revamp our summer camp thing. And we went from just having 2 moderately sized conservatories, and the first year I said, well, we're gonna add some more age-appropriate stuff for some of our younger performers. So now we have 6 different summer camps, which are for 4 through 7-year-olds, and then these 2 big things for our 8 to 18-year-olds. But still, there were more kids who we weren't able to serve. There just wasn't enough space. So the next year, I added a Shakespeare intensive. So we have now this more advanced experience for our more mature actors, and it gives those kids who have been in our conservatories for years a chance to do something a little more challenging. Fantastic, we've done that outside. We were just talking about the Depot Park performances. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen our Shakespeare Festival, you gotta come this year. It's outside, it's free, bring your picnic and watch our Shakespeare shows. And it's a combination of younger performers from here, as well as some professional actors who come and sort of work as actor educators. They're friends of mine from other cities. And that's where we use some of our college interns, which brings my next thing, which we integrated, which is a college internship program. The stuff we do in the summer would be impossible without the hands that we have. So we've instituted that year a college internship program. And we have had interns from all over the country. These are pretty impressive students. When I put out the ad that we are looking for summer interns, we get them from even other countries. Like last year I had close to 70 applications and some of them were really epic kids. So we have that program in the summer. If you know any college kids who are really into theater and want to work really hard, because we make them work really hard, it's a great opportunity for them. And then last year, which has been my 3rd summer there, we added another program, which was our advanced musical theater. Last summer we did Les Miserables. It was our first attempt at a bigger, more challenging musical theater piece. So now we have a total of 10 summer camp programs. So that's why we need those college interns, because we work around the clock and every day of the week. So if you have anyone in your life who's interested in that kind of thing, we start the summer stuff, the registrations right at the beginning of April, but we already have this little tidbit. This year we're going to be doing Wizard of Oz as our main conservatory, so if you know any Wizard of Oz fans. Also, last year, our total for those programs was 200 students and over 5,000 audience members. So that's a pretty big step in this idea of educating and enriching. But then, the first year, summer came to an end, and I thought, well, I'm not just going to sit around for 10 months till next summer. So we really revamped the academy program. So we now have drama classes. We have 4 different age levels of drama classes, as well as a continuous private voice lessons and group voice lessons. For our average semester, we have about 60 kids enrolled in our programs. Our spring ones are just about to start. We're going to start enrolling. I do have some information about what we're doing with those kind of things. And it's a cool chance for students who are maybe a little newer at this to think, do I like this? Before I commit to a full 2 weeks of, doing Les Miserables, I want to make sure that I like it. So it gives them a little chance to skill build. And it's a really cool opportunity for our younger kids as well, because it's a really low stress way for them to sort of start building some of the theater skills, which I always say are life skills. Things like teamwork and problem solving and self-confidence and just standing up in front of an audience and being able to talk. It's one of the biggest fears of American adults, and we ask the 4-year-olds to do it, and lo and behold, they do it. So those theater skills are life skills. We'd work on that during our academy. And then we also have a whole other program, which kind of goes along with our main stage stuff, which is our student matinees. Now, we have, not every show we do is quite appropriate for every audience member, but we have built up the student matinee population exponentially. The year before I arrived, when poor Chris was forced to do this, like, on top of all his other duties, there were 6 student matinees with a total attendance of 1,653 kids, which is a lot, right? Especially if you're doing it on top of your normal job. But at this point, for this season, we have 12 shows, and we have already sold 3,255 seats, and there's still more shows yet to come. So that's a cool way for students who would not necessarily be able to go to a main stage performance because it doesn't work with their family schedule or the ticket price is too high, to still experience that same full performance, just at 9:30 in the morning. So that's another cool thing we do that's sort of in this idea of enriching the audiences. And the last thing we've done for the last few years, which I'm deep in the midst of making happen this year, is our school tour. And I want to thank this Rotary for helping sponsor our visit to Edwards last year. Edwards, sorry. I get those schools confused. It's a kind of a cool program that we have undertaken. So in addition to the main stage shows, which, like we said, are sometimes great for younger audiences, but the Savannah Sippin' Society, which is coming up, will be a lot of fun for, adults. But if you're in 3rd grade, you're not going to get those jokes. I don't get those jokes. So it's not the best opportunity for that age level. And we want to be able to grow our audiences from tiny all the way up. We want to be able to grow our performers and our technicians from when they're tiny all the way up. So our school tour are productions which are still performed by professionals, designed by our professionals, directed by our professionals, but designed specifically for a young audience. The first year we did an internationally known piece called The New Kid. It's a piece that is near and dear to my heart, and I love that piece. It spoke about what it's like to be an English as a second language student, but it's all from the perspective of the English as a learned language student. So what the audience hears is our language, and what all the characters around this character are speaking is a scripted gibberish. And it was, for every audience I've ever done this for, certainly the ones around here, it was a really eye-opening experience for them to say, oh, I never knew what it would feel like to be in a situation where I don't know what people are saying. It is scary, it is intimidating, it does make me feel angry and sad and nervous. So that was our first production. It was really well received. And so last year, we wanted to do something that was contemporary and sort of in keeping with things that are happening around here. And from that, we built a new play. So that was our first original work. That one was called The Seekers, which you guys did sponsor going into Edwards. And it talked about, it kind of is in the same format as Maze Runner and Hunger Games, that sort of futuristic, sort of post-apocalyptic kind of feel, which is very popular with kids these days. And so in this world that we created, things like reading and math were restricted. You weren't allowed to learn whatever you wanted. You could only learn what your group of people was allowed to learn. And again, when we would have a talk back after the performance with the kids, they would say, I never thought about if I couldn't do what I wanted to. And so just giving them the flip side of where they weren't allowed to read, they weren't allowed to do math, suddenly made it seem like something that was more of a privilege than a lot of American kids see it as. So that was our second year. And this year, the one we're working on right now, it will start going into schools on February 27th through March 24, is another original script. This one is called Flutterby. I have some information about that, which is being written based on suggestions from local guidance counselors about topics that are issues for our youth in this region. Things like social media misuse, bullying online, toxic friendships, and just identity and awareness and acceptance of people who are different from us. Which, again, like all these theater things, are really life skills for anyone. But these shows are cool because they are meant just for a young audience. Last year we went to 18 schools and saw over 5,000 audience members, so we're hoping to build that even more this year. We're in several different counties, but to me, since we are in Lee County as our home, we want to make sure that we get as many of those Lee County schools involved as possible. Those are the things that I think are in my little part of the world. I didn't time myself, Chris. Is it too long? Chris will give me this when he's like, we're all done. But I guess I wanted to offer, as I've seen people do here, the opportunity to, if there's questions that I could answer, yeah.
Have you given any thought to including a program on theatrical signing?
I feel like it might be well attended, but possibly not as, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe the actual American Sign Language people would be slightly offended at my creative.
No, I think that's what the theatrical.
Oh, right.
Theatrical signing.
Thank you.
And if you don't know what he's talking about, shame on you, because you didn't go see any of the Sanders family.
Well, I kept saying, I don't know her.
Yes, I've had the opportunity to play the role of June Sanders at several theaters, including the whole trilogy here at this theater. And if you ever get a chance to see those shows at our theater or somewhere else, they're fun and they're sweet and they're heartwarming. So, thank you.
This old Southern boy learned the most in the least amount of time that I have ever gotten in a long time.
Well, like I always tell students, when I start talking, they say, you talk too fast. And I say, no, you're listening too slow. We got lots to do.
And Charles, are you doing the program?
I was trying to talk I bet Chris will attest that I was talking slower than my usual rate.
I've tried to school Greta over the years on operational tempo, what that means. Her op tempo sometimes gets away from her. Everybody else has to keep up.
It's true. Another famous quote of mine is, I need everyone to operate at my tempo. But I guess that comes from the idea of just being excited and passionate about what we're doing. And if you spend time in a room with 70, middle schoolers, you can't go too slow or they will run all over. What do you got?
Instead of having Walk of Fame in Broadway with the little stars, can we do one in Sanford?
I think that's a fun idea. The people who just redid the sidewalks might not like that, but that's a fun idea.
The first one.
Interesting idea.
I think that is a fun idea. We should have thought of that.
Great.
Greta actually talked about this already, but when we did the performance at Edwards Elementary, and I understand that there's 5 to 6 to 7 announcements at every Thursday Rotary luncheon, and you may not have attended, and we didn't have a whole lot of Rotarian members there, and that's okay. It was not expensive. And what we did is, Sanford Real Estate had sponsored it, and Greta had asked, and Chris had helped with that. And I thought, since we served 5 5th grade classes at Edwards Elementary, that they would be the beneficiaries of that play. It was a lot of fun. It was a cool play. It was actually a little bit of a challenge and a little bit mind-bending that you had to think a little bit outside the box, which I liked. I thought that was fantastic. Well, Greta wanted to do more, as you can tell from her presentation today. So we did the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. So she did 2 performances. And I'm the beneficiary of some of these things. They took us to the Philharmonic when I was in elementary school, and they took us to plays. And this is how you grow the arts. Everyone knows that the first thing to get cut in public school systems is what?
The arts.
The arts.
The arts.
And then phys ed and all that kind of stuff. So I want to thank you for doing that. It was fantastic. I don't know, I'm trying to be demonstrative about this because I don't know that we're going to get the thank yous from 8, 9, and 10-year-olds because they're probably too young. But we're going to see that in 5, 8, 10, 12 years with more kids going to your conservatory and loving the arts and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that.
Thank you. And I think that what John just said is you don't necessarily get the thank yous from 8, 9, 10-year-olds, and that's probably true. They don't write a thank you note unless someone makes them. But the thank you that I think is really clear from them, certainly in a situation like that, if you see a performance, is, for one, just them seeming fascinated, and afterwards, when we have a question and answer time with that age group, a million hands shoot up, and they have so many questions about why was it like that? How did you do that? How can I do that? And again, like I always say, theater skills are life skills. We want a kid to watch that and think, huh, it is different than the way that I experience life, but I shouldn't necessarily be a jerk to that person just because he's different than me. Sometimes those things are so easy to just lecture a kid about, but then when they actually experience it, 45 minutes later, they're like, oh, now I got it. And that is the kind of change that like sticks in your heart and kind of builds you into a decent human, right? And I think those are priceless gifts that we can give to kids. And I think that's another cool thing about all of our programs, whether as audience members or as participants, kids say all the time things that sound like thank you if you listen. That was the most fun I ever had. I never want to leave this place. This place feels like home to me. Those are thank you. They're just kid way of saying thank you, you know? So thank you for having me.
Great job, Greta.
It's a lot of energy.
I wish I had it. You should see her sign.
Jeff.
We have $37, $38 to the winner today. 37 something like that. Let's see. Actually, you come over here.
Oh.
I'll let you read out the last four numbers.
Okay. 5765.
Close.
Oh, yay!
Your job is not yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, I got 770.
I always tell Chris that I want my jobs to mainly be standing around and looking pretty. That's all I do.
And now, for the star of the show, Jim Miller.
No, this is the star. And, you know, you could replace the Energizer Bunny. Okay, 353 tickets we have sold to date. And if you would reach in there and just grab one.
This is the one.
That doesn't say John Ransford.
Hey.
Ooh, I don't know what that says. Sanford. Ford, maybe? David?
Honda,
Oh.
Sanford Honda, Larry Aiken sold the
Oh.
ticket.
There you go.
Pardon?
David Marsh.
David Marsh? Okay.
Yeah, David Marsh.
Thank you.
Perfect.
M-A-R-S.
On the back of on the back of your ticket that you actually sell or that you purchase, there are 33 agencies that we supported last year. Our ability to continue to do the things that this Rotary Club does is a function of how well we do this project. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here today. Don, congratulations. Welcome to the club. Glad to have you. Terry, come back and see us. Your event that you guys have on the 18th is a fun event. Time I go every year. And it is a lot of fun. And you got John Ransberger trying to deal cards to you.
Trying to take poker chips from people.
He does. He tries to cash me in. But it is a lot of fun. I hope we all can get to that. Anything else for the good of Rotary today? If not, please, 4-way test, please.
Please join me in a 4-way test. The things you think are new. First is the truth.
Is it fair, all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
I
I
pledge
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2 weeks, guys, the white elephant. So get your stuff together. Let's get that in. And let's have a great auction.
Thank you. I'm actually not the answer because